my name is Crystal and I'm here just to tell you a little bit about myself. I have decided to make a few videos and kind of try it out. I am super new to this world, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I figured it might be a nice way to connect with everyone, show you who I really am, and give you a little bit better sense than kind of just photos and words on Instagram. So anyways, if you've been following my story, then thank you so much for all your support and comments and love. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you'll follow my videos. I am a 31-year-old mother of two. I have a 4-year-old girl and a 20-month-old boy, and I live in Napa Valley. And I have a hubby who I've been with for about 15 years, and we live in this cute little house. So anyways, a little bit about my background. I'm currently a health consultant or a health coach, and I've been going to school at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and studying nutrition and over 100 different dietary theories, and have fallen deeply, deeply in love with the curriculum. It's such an incredible program. If you're ever interested in going to nutrition school, and this is a holistic nutrition school, then please reach out to me and I'd love to refer you to IIN. It's such an incredible program. It's literally changed my life. So what got me here? I've always been into health and nutrition and kind of a step ahead of most people around me, and just kind of always cautious of things. But what really kind of drove me into health was a celiac disease diagnosis over 10 years ago. So I'd been having a lot of digestive issues kind of my whole life. It ebbed and flowed, and then when I hit about 18, 19, it got really, really bad. Doctors couldn't give me any answers. I actually spent a couple of years just in pain after the last doctor told me I had IBS. I knew that wasn't it, and kind of sent me on my way and refused to refer me to a specialist. So anyways, that was kind of when gluten became like a thing. So I'd learned about it and I decided to give it a shot. So I cut it out of my diet, and after it was only I think 5 days, Monday to Friday, I felt like a brand new person. I was jumping off the walls. I had so much energy. My brain fog was gone. My stomach wasn't bloated and crazy distended like it had been every day before then. I felt incredible. So I knew that, okay, this is it. And I tested it out a couple days later on Mother's Day and got horribly sick within 30 minutes after eating a little bit of gluten. So from that day forward, I knew I had to live the rest of my life gluten-free. So I was shortly after then diagnosed with celiac disease, and it changed my whole life. I started having to read ingredients in all the packaged food I ate, and really being super careful. I got sick a couple times along the way, and it does happen every once in a while, but I'm really careful and I take it very seriously. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder that when you eat gluten, your body thinks it's kind of an invader and tries to attack it, and instead attacks itself. So my body was attacking my intestinal lining in my gut and destroying the villi and leaving me just in so much pain and felt like a permanent hangover with horrible bloating and all the other gross symptoms. So it was really bad. And if it goes untreated, it can leave you with things like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus and lots of other degenerative osteoporosis, lots of other degenerative diseases that are really serious. So if you think that you might have a gluten intolerance, which is different, or celiac disease, you should go get tested immediately. Always get tested before you cut gluten out of your diet if you think that you might have celiac disease, because it's a lot harder to diagnose it afterwards. Anyways, so after I got diagnosed with celiac and cut everything out of my diet, it was a little hard. The first 6 months, I'm not gonna lie, were really hard. I went into kind of a depression. I felt like I couldn't eat anything. I felt like nothing was safe. It was a little hard challenge in my life, but I found a book called The Gluten-Free Girl by Shauna Ahern, and she is amazing. And it was her journey through celiac and finding out her diagnosis and changing her life. And she put recipes in there, and she really inspired me. So I decided to go out and buy some ingredients I'd never tried before and bake my own stuff. I bought a couple of gluten-free cookbooks, and it just kind of took off. Like, I wasn't scared anymore of trying new things and kind of getting out of my comfort zone. And I figured, well, if I can't eat this, at a restaurant, I'm just gonna make it at home. And that really worked for me. And I started baking and cooking like crazy. So that was about 10 years ago, and here I am now. So I'm all self-taught cooking. I don't do anything too crazy fancy, but I take pride in what I do, and cooking is my therapy. It is, for some people it's not the case, but all the chopping, all the prep, and all the little things, like the stuff that normally you might take a shortcut through, like I love those things, and I love creating things from scratch, like with my own hands. I think that's so cool. Like something as simple as like making veggie stock. Like it's just so cool that we can, take such simple ingredients or even like leftover ingredients and create something new and virtually free out of it. It's super cool. So anyways, so that's my take on cooking and gluten-free and life with celiac disease. If you want to know more about that, please reach out to me. I'd love to tell you all the information in the world and great gluten-free friendly restaurants in the Napa Valley. So on to the big stuff. Fast forward to 2017, last year. I was pregnant with my baby boy, and I was in labor, and I couldn't dilate past 4 centimeters, although I'd had, one natural birth already, totally fine delivery and all that good stuff, kinda. And I wasn't able to dilate, and they took me in for a C-section, and there was a mass on my cervix, so they biopsied it. And my beloved gynecologist doctor came in and informed me that the biopsy came back as cancer. So, kind of crazy. It's like making me emotional just talking about it, which usually I don't really get like that anymore. So that diagnosis, it'll be 2 years this coming March in 2018 since I was diagnosed, hit me like a ton of bricks. I ended up getting tested and scanned and had a 4 centimeter tumor, a 4 centimeter tumor on my cervix. So that was kind of the threshold. Oh, and the best part, it was in my lymph nodes. So the cancer had spread into my pelvic lymph nodes, and with that size of a tumor, plus it being in my lymph nodes, that meant that I had to do chemotherapy and radiation. So I still have my hair because of the type of chemo I did. It was low dose. Didn't feel like low dose, let me tell you. But I had some hair thinning, but I had a lot to start with. And yeah, I got to keep most of it, which is kind of cool, I guess. And it's so long. Whoop whoop. Anyways, so after some, a surgery and everything, I endured 2 months basically of chemo radiation, external radiation, internal radiation. It was the hardest, craziest thing I've ever done in my life. Was so insane that I literally don't even believe that it happened. Like, it just seemed kind of like a nightmare. Like, yeah, that happened, but like, that didn't happen. So, it took me a long time to recover, and, oh, sorry, that's my dog. Lil, come here, Lil. It took me a long time to recover from that. I was severely anemic. I had to have 2 blood transfusions. It really took everything out of me. So I kind of lost myself in it for a little bit. When you're that weak and kind of torn down, I couldn't eat. It really takes a lot out of you. And looking back and seeing how far I've come today and what I've gone through, I'm just so grateful. I really never thought that I would have this back, this light, this energy, this personality, this will to live and love and have a purpose in life. So, I'm just super grateful. So if you want any information on cervical cancer or more on my journey, I'm an open book. I will tell you anything you need to know or want to know or don't want to know. So feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. Support all my cancer survivors, thrivers, patients, whatever you're doing. I'm here for you. I want to share my peace in my world. So anyways, the day that I got diagnosed with cancer, I decided to go plant-based. That was a decision that I had already made in my head before I ever got a diagnosis. Believe it or not, I mean, I guess it's most people's biggest fear, but my biggest fear in the whole world was getting cancer. So it's almost like, did I manifest this? Because that literally was like, I could not do that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle that. I wouldn't be able to. There's no way. I would just like shrivel up into a ball and die. Like, I can't have cancer. So I knew that if that did happen, however, I would go vegan or plant-based to help my body heal and work and all the good stuff. So literally the day I got diagnosed, I cut out all meat and dairy. I cut out sugar, refined sugar, all that good stuff. And my body loved it. So I had just given birth. I obviously was going through a lot. I, didn't have the best appetite at first, but once I kind of like wrapped my head around dealing with this beast and fighting it, I started getting back in the kitchen and cooking, but the weight just dropped off me. And I was eating a lot. So my body just loved it. I had tons of energy. Once I figured out the balance of how much carbs and fats and all that stuff to eat, because I was starving at first. I was breastfeeding at first too. So anyways, I dropped a ton of weight and realized that I just felt really good. And then I did start treatment. So during the 2 months, at least 2 months, maybe 3 that I was in treatment, I did start to eat a little bit more dairy. I didn't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in like a year and a half or something like that now, which is so crazy. I was a pretty big meat eater before. I ate meat every day. Dairy every day, absolutely. It was a huge part of my life. Eggs every day. Or every other day. So, yeah, year and a half, crazy. But anyways, I did eat a little bit of dairy during treatment because my appetite was so low and I was losing weight too rapidly at that point that I had to incorporate a little bit of just stuff that sounded good to me, which was comfort food. I really only wanted comfort food while I was in treatment, which was really ironic because, I had gotten into this headspace before I started treatment, like I'm just going to be juicing and like acai bowls and like big kale salads and kale bean soups, and I'm going to be so healthy during treatment, and that all flew out the window. I was like, to get mashed potatoes in my face was, that was a challenge for me. So that was really hard. So after treatment, and after I got my appetite back, because I literally didn't have an appetite at all, like I had to force myself to eat for a long time. Once my appetite came back, which was really exciting, I remember I called my mom when it happened, because I love food, I love cooking, so that was a big part of my life that I lost there for a little bit. So that was a big contributing factor to why I, felt kind of lost. So I started cooking, and I slowly got dairy back out of my diet, and which is what I recommend. I wouldn't recommend going cold turkey. Cold turkey is a little bit more crazy. especially with things like sugar. And you can totally do it, but these, sugar, dairy, they're really addicting, and it's really hard on our body. And last thing you want to do is just cut it out completely and then fall back to your old habits because your cravings are too harsh. So, and that's what I'm here for. I'm a health consultant. So if you do need to get rid of any of those things in your diet, contact me. I can totally help you clear things out of your diet and clean things up. That is what I specialize in. And it's really fun. It's really easy. It's nothing crazy. No crash diets, nothing like that. So please see me. I'd love to chat. So anyways, got dairy back out of my diet. And then at that point it was like, okay, well, I'll have a little dairy here, a little dairy there, just like taste it. I'll have a bite here, I'll have a bite there, I'll treat myself on holidays, whatever. But then I found when I started treating myself that I would feel really bad afterwards. I got nauseous, I was bloated, I just felt really, really sick. So I decided, you know what, that's not worth it anymore. And honestly, yeah, it tastes good sometimes, but it really doesn't taste as good as our brain makes us think it tastes. Trust me, it really doesn't. I do miss it every once in a while, but for the most part, I'd rather feel good than eat something that tastes good for 5 seconds. And, you may feel differently about that, but that's how I feel. That's what keeps me going, is that I feel great. My body feels right. I feel, light. I don't feel bloated. I have tons of energy. I just feel really good. So that's what keeps me going. And then cooking, obviously. If you do want to try a plant-based or vegan diet, I highly recommend getting in the kitchen and learning or teaching yourself to cook. I can do cooking lessons as well. If you want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to help you with that. But, you can be plant-based, I guess not really plant-based, kind of plant-based, but you can be vegan and be very unhealthy. You can live off packaged food, and that's really not what it's about. That's not the way to live. You want to try to eat as many whole foods as you can. And yeah, it can be a little bit intimidating, but cooking is really, it's not hard. It's just, it's just one step at a time. And sometimes it can be time consuming, but that's why it's great to find and learn recipes that are quick and easy. And there's so many of them, and it's really cheap too. If you don't eat animal products or packaged products, it is dirt cheap. Beans, rice, legumes, you could do veggies, fruit, all that stuff. It's so cheap. And you can have it in bulk. You can get it in cans, whatever. It's so cheap. So anyways, so that's what got me here. So here I am. I'm 90% plant-based. I do eat some seafood from time to time. I've been at a point in my life, and even still occasionally get into it, where I start eating a little bit too much seafood and it doesn't really feel right, so I kind of cut back a little bit. But that's, where I stand, and, that's why I don't claim to be a vegan. I'm not. I do absolutely applaud anyone who is vegan and anyone who's out there fighting for animal rights and animal cruelty. I think it's incredible. It's amazing. Cheers to you. I love it. But if you choose to eat animal products as well, that's okay. And I'm not here to judge anyone or tell anyone what they should and should not be eating. We're all different, and all of our bodies are different. If you're going to eat meat, the best thing that you can do, meat and dairy, is buy organic, buy grass-fed, buy local, know where it comes from. If you can, get to know your butcher, get to know the farm the meat comes from, your eggs. There's local places, especially if you live in Napa Valley. There are places you can buy eggs right off of a farm all over the place. Pasture-raised eggs are the best way to go. You can find those at Whole Foods. And this stuff is a little bit more expensive, but it's not going to give you all the junk that you're eating in the hormone-laden antibiotics. These poor animals that are just sitting in filth and sadness, and we're eating that. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. We're eating that. So, invest in your health and invest in yourself. And yes, things that are organic and grass-fed and all that good stuff are more expensive, but it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. Not to mention that once you kind of get into eating those types of, higher quality products, you realize that the stuff you're eating before doesn't really taste as good, so it tastes better too. So anyways, that's my little a little tidbit on that. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I started this little show here to put out some videos. I know you guys want to see cooking videos and little tips here and there and health stuff, so I'm going to do my best to crank some stuff out and get you guys some information. If you would like to know more about my health coaching business, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you. I will be doing a video dedicated to health coaching soon, but until then, feel free to reach out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and for listening. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks again to all of you who have been following my journey throughout everything. If you want to know more, see more about my cancer journey, it is on my Instagram at CancerFreeCree. And my consulting and health business is at Crystal Herrick Consulting. So please reach out and send me a message. I'd love to hear from you and leave comments, please. Love your feedback. And anyways, yeah, so I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Happy Wednesday and take care.